greetings, fans, and welcome again to the massive hit cricket show. Beautiful Saturday morning. The West Indies fighting back against New Zealand at the end of day 3 for West Indies, 381 for 6. On the back of a brilliant 100 from Kavem Hodge, who started a little bit shakily, but definitely recovered, played nicely. Played the pull shot well and looked very composed going into the end of day number 3. Brandon King got out for a well-played 63 runs. Unfortunately, at the start of the day, John Campbell went very early. Didn't really capitalize on the start that he had on day number 2. But the West Indies managed to bat out an entire day, which was, very good for the team overall. Taking you back to the New Zealand innings, the New Zealand the Kiwis obviously made 575 for 8 declared. Unfortunately for the West Indies, Shai Hope, who has been the best batsman for the visiting team in the series so far, was unable to bat. Shai Hope has a bout of food poisoning and made it to the ground yesterday, but unfortunately did not come out to bat. Will he bat on day number 4? We shall see. But as always, the massive hit resident analyst, who is nicely cladded in his massive hit hoodie, looking bossy over there, is here with me today, and we're gonna break this one down. Malik, what's going on, man?
Roger, it's a pleasure to be back. It was good to see you in Florida, but I'm back in Georgia now, ready to go.
All right, that's it.
We have a massive weekend of cricket ahead of us.
Oh yeah, it's big. The West Indies, they're over there in New Zealand. The Ashes is of course going on. Some exciting stuff going on there as well. Obviously the controversies with Jofra, but West Indies, that's where we're at right now. At the end of day number 3, Samir, obviously 2 days to go. We know how Test match cricket is. You know, this game could speed up towards the end and anything could happen. Right now, Samir, it appears as if the game is headed in the direction of a draw. But I want to start at the top of day 3, and I want to get your thoughts on the West Indies approach to day 3. Particularly, we would have liked a continuation from John Campbell and Brandon King on what they started up with at the end of day number 2, when they were 110 without loss. But we saw John Campbell getting dismissed, Samir, in very disappointing fashion. Coming forward again, playing with hands away from his body, playing in front. And in fact, when the ball made contact with John Campbell's bat, Samir, his right foot, his front foot, was still in the air, not planted.
Roger, you've been saying this forever, right? This is not something that you've started saying today. John Campbell has technical problem as an opener. Remember, I've said it, that he just bats first. He's not really an opener, and that's what it is. We see this again and again. Yes, he's going to have some good days, and you saw at the end of day 2 when he had 45 runs in a partnership with King, and King had 55. King just looks an opener, in my opinion. John Campbell, I've been saying this again and again to West Indian management, that they have to put him in the middle order. Obviously, listen, it hasn't come to that yet. But listen, today, was a positive day for West Indies overall. 271 runs for the loss of 6 wickets at the end of day 3. I think is extremely positive. Yes, King couldn't get going either, but, once again, both these batsmen did their job. It was a 100-run partnership. That's what you want in Test cricket. You want your opening batsmen, I won't call them openers, but opening batsmen to at least get you a decent start, and they did. And then everybody's contributed today. Unfortunately, once again, nobody went on to score a big one except for Hodge. If you had a second batsman who would have scored 100 today, I thought Athens and Greaves both were looking really good. I don't think that there's any demons in this pitch. It is a batting pitch. I think we're going towards a draw. Unless, the spinners come into play, which they don't look like. I was very surprised that Ajaz Patel for New Zealand wasn't as effective. and neither was Chase for West Indies. So the spinners are pretty much not that effective. And as you know, in this series and throughout New Zealand's history, we've seen that the pitches get better as the series goes on and as the test matches go on. So it looks like this is definitely going for a draw, which, in my opinion, is a victory for West Indies. Remember, before the series, we and everybody else was saying West Indies is going to get slashed, right? We're looking at 3-0. But after the Greaves double, there was some hope. Yes, we lost the second test, but now you're seeing the third test is very competitive, and it looks like it's heading towards a draw.
To be fair, Samir, in world cricket these days, there are not a lot of quote unquote traditional type openers, right? KL Rahul is one who's just brilliant, leaves the ball well, plays late. But if you look at the rest, they're not really, Travis Head, he's opening for Australia. It's not really an opener in the traditional sense of the word. Ben Duckett, all of these guys, right? Zach Crawley, Yashasvi, Dryswell. If you look at the way these guys play, they all open, right? So let's be fair. And yes, we have recognized the technical deficiencies of a John Campbell, but his partnership with Brandon King looks positive, right?
Yes, absolutely.
They appear as if they have a fairly good chemistry together. They keep applying pressure back on the bowlers, and who knows? These two, if given a run, could perhaps be what the West Indies is looking for.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, once again, I'm not saying that, you don't keep on trying with both of these players. Both of these players obviously put up a 100-run partnership for the first time for West Indies cricket in 47 innings. So remember, it's been 47 innings since the combination of openers has scored 100-plus runs for West Indies. So absolutely, you'll have to give them another go. But at the same point, you still have to look at the team, you have to look at the balance and where a player is better situated, right? Now, you mentioned Head, who I believe is in a different class altogether compared to a King or a John Campbell or any of the West Indian openers that we've tried recently. So once again, I don't think that you can compare the two players. It looks to me that, West Indies has the potential, once again, going to New Zealand. And remember, New Zealand is a team that swept India and India 3-0, right? So they know how to play test cricket. And this is their home conditions. And for West Indies to perform the way they've done on this tour, I think is incredible. I think there's a lot of heart that you can take from this tour and say, listen, West Indies cricket is progressing now.
Yeah. Morning to the fans. Morning, everyone. Morning, D Major General, Coordinator, or Co-Wrangler. Morning, Prashant. We're going to get to all the comments soon. Someone there saying they're not hearing in the sound. Guys, can you confirm that the sound is okay?
No, sound is okay. Sound is okay.
Sound is okay.
Yes,
all right, and we're going to get to those
on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to get to those comments soon. I actually just switched to my microphone. We're going to get to those comments soon, guys. Someone here says the openers look good because they're two Jamaicans. All right,
Roger, you like that comment, right?
Yeah, it's not a bad comment, is it? I guess the Jamaicans have the good chemistry together. Hodge and Athena's, two Dominicans, have good chemistry batting together, and then the two Bajans in the middle, Hope and Greaves. So
listen, Hodge, I gotta give a special shout out to Hodge. His third innings.
Thanks, Dimo.
In a comeback, right? His third innings in a comeback, and what you're seeing is a tremendous, application on a day when he came in early. Remember, John Campbell lost his wicket way early, so he came in early, and he performed extremely well today. So you got to give a shout out to Hodge. He's made a comeback, and I don't think he batted that badly in the second test either. I think he batted pretty well, right?
He did.
This was a continuation of that. Remember, number 3, I think, it's been a position where obviously the opening and the number 3 has been a problem for West Indies throughout this year, right? So if they can resolve that, I think going forward, I just heard that, Pakistan and West Indies have confirmed the dates for a test series next year, right? So when Pakistan visits West Indies, I think, this is going to be the combination I think that they're going to take going forward. I think it's going to be John Campbell and King opening along with Hodge at 1 down, Hope at 2 down, and then you bring in Lees, and then we'll see where we go from there. Obviously, a lot of people are asking us about Chase. We haven't mentioned Chase this morning.
We'll talk about that soon. We'll get to that soon.
It's already in the comments, right? It's already in the comments. So,
it's in the comments, but let's not go there yet.
There's going to be a lot of question marks in regards to where Chase is going to be playing, at least in Test cricket.
So Prantier is asking, why did they drop Kavem Hodge? Listen, as Darren Samir said at the start of the Australian series, none of these guys have really distinguished themselves in a way to say they could not be dropped, right? Hodge had failed in the last 3 series against South Africa, Pakistan, and who was it? There was another team before that series. So yes, he had a decent tour in England. Yes, he did pretty okay in Australia as well. But then he Hodge kind of fell off, right? So, again, he scored the most runs, but he also played the most innings. He had an average of 25. I don't think we could have, complained too much about Hodge being dropped when he was. But right now he's back. He's doing pretty well. And long may that continue. Vanty Williams, yes, I agree with you. It would have been nice to see King go on. Morning again to everyone. Shai Hope has food poisoning, and that's the reason why he did not turn out to bat yesterday. He was not at the ground at all on day number 2. Day number 3, he was there, but at the back of the dressing room. So Shai has to be feeling very ill to not head out there to bat. But as you said, Samir, kudos to Hodge. Started shakily, but really, really blossomed as the day went on. Played the short ball particularly well. Very impressed with the way he pulled the ball. And definitely, was very, very solid. Hodge spoke to the media after day number 3. Let's hear now from the Centurion, Kavem Hodge.
Well batted, first of all.
Thank you very much.
How far do you guys think you've gone towards, being able to push for a win in this case?
I mean, it's in the back of our minds, but right now we're just trying to focus on what's in front of us, trying to eat into the lead as much as possible. And it's a situation where, all hands on deck, and, we're seeing that right now. So it's just a matter of us taking it as deep as possible.
What were batting conditions like out there in the middle?
No, it was pretty good actually. New Zealand is just a lovely place. I think the ball started to just misbehave a little bit. Some kept a bit low, but it's still a really good batting wicket.
Shai Hope has been battling food poisoning. Have you
Yeah.
seen him? How's he doing?
Yeah, he's there. He's getting better. He's getting better. I think us batting throughout the day really helped give him time to recover and stuff like that. So just see how he is tomorrow, and then hopefully he could step out and put in some work for us as well.
Will that be, re-energizing possibly him coming out to bat? I don't know, down at number 9 or 10 or whatever it is?
Yeah, like I said, the situation is all hands on deck. So everybody, who gets an opportunity to bat, I think, they'll relish that. And obviously having him, at the wicket is still a big plus for us as well.
So it's a bit of a painful blow for you out there.
Yes.
Have you ever had anything like that before?
I have. It happened a couple of times in the nets. Prior to that, in Test cricket, I think it was just off the spin of Nathan Lyon. I left and got hit in the nuts. But it was a bit painful, but thankfully, I was able to get over it and, go past the landmark. So, yeah, thank God for that.
You spent quite a long time in the 90s.
Yeah.
And obviously we were very patient, and obviously that bow happened
Yeah.
between times. What was going through your mind as you...
Look, I told myself, hey, I spent all day to get 90. I still have all day tomorrow. Just stick to the processes. It makes no sense I work so hard from 0 to 90 and then go change. So just stick to the processes. Keep concentrating. Every opportunity I get, I'd ask God for strength and to keep me focused. But yeah, it was just a matter of sticking to the processes and taking it one ball at a time.
What were the keys for you batting today? It looked like you were quite positive in defence, quite positive in leaving. Was that on your mind?
Look, I think these guys are top class bowlers, so I think concentration is a really big thing for me. Being switched on every ball, and then obviously having my routine between deliveries to kind of switch off. that kept me really mentally fresh when I was ready to face the next delivery, and it has worked for me thus far. So yeah, just being ready for every ball and making good decisions for long periods, because I mean it's a good batting wicket, but there's still always something for the bowler, so it's important that I stay switched on.
Where do you take your mind between balls? Dinner tonight or?
No, I think actually just taking in the scene. New Zealand is very beautiful. It's a place that I've always wanted to come. So just staying in the moment and just realizing, wow, this is beautiful. And then obviously certain visual cues on the ground that I focus between each balls. That's kept me mentally fresh.
So playing in New Zealand is obviously a lot different than playing in the West Indies.
Yep.
You do play around the world.
Yeah.
How do you come here and adjust to the extra bounce?
I think it's something that you have to prepare mentally for, and also the work put in before coming here. Obviously the pitches is much bouncier here. Obviously back home we use the turf and the matting to try and emulate that. But thankfully we had some really good net sessions. We had some warm-up games, and that really got us in tune for what's to come in the test matches.
Just lastly for me, you had I think it was 3 50-plus partnerships with players today.
Yeah.
I think it was Tevin, Alec, and Justin.
Yeah.
How important were they to help you get through your 100?
No, it was really good. I think, like I said again, it's all hands on deck. Everybody that comes and chips in, it eats away from the lead. So the more partnerships that we can get, it's beneficial for the team. We would love 150 partnership, 200-run partnership, but those 50 and 50, they add up, and it's going to make a big difference in the back end of the game.
Just on Tevin, that was a pretty big call from him to go up the order to where Shai would normally bat.
Yeah.
How was he? Was he, obviously batting down at 7
Yeah,
is very different from batting up at 4, but he seemed to really accept that responsibility and support you?
Yeah, I think obviously in first class cricket he's a top order batsman, but obviously coming to the West Indies, then he plays that keeper role, so he bats down the order. So he was more than happy to do it. Really happy that he got a score. It's been a little bit difficult for him. Obviously New Zealand is a tough place to start as a batsman. But it showed a lot of character from him. Coming in that position when the team really needed it, and putting on a big partnership.
For you personally, where does that 100 rate? Obviously, you had that one in England last year.
Yeah. No, it's up there. I mean, it's just my second, but obviously, now coming back into the team after being dropped for some time, you always wanna. The hardest thing in international cricket when you get back is feeling that you belong and knowing that you have what it takes to be at this level, so it's I thank God for the opportunity, and just to be able to provide some runs and value for the team, so it's up there.
All right, Kavem Hodge there. So it appears as if Shai Hope will come out to bat tomorrow, Samir.
Hey, as I told you earlier off air, I think he's definitely taking a lot of medication, Imodium, some anti-infection medication, and hopefully, he takes a lot of liquids and he's ready to go. I think obviously West Indies is in good shape, but they would have been in even better shape if Hope didn't get this illness.
Yeah, and we saw the way Athena's got out after getting a really good start. Very, very unfortunate. But let's talk about Kevin.
Not only Anthony's, Greaves too. Greaves was looking the part. When Greaves was batting, it looked like he's gonna get another big one. So Greaves continues to show a lot of positives. I've called for Greaves to bat at number 7, but I think 6 is gonna be his spot now going forward. Nobody can dislodge him from number 6 now.
Yeah. All right. Let's focus a little bit on Imlak. Imlak came in at number 4. He got an opportunity to bat behind the order. And obviously, as we have mentioned before, I think Imlak has a serious problem when facing seam bowling or pace bowling. He is very, very limited. Doesn't seem to be able to score any runs or to have any real scoring options against us. And we heard Chase in the pre-match interview saying when he's watching Imlak, he doesn't know where he's going to score. Now, yes, Imlak made, how much did he make last night? 27. But against pace.
Most of them against Ijaz Patel and Glenn Phillips.
Yeah. 26 runs of his 27 against the spin. He faced 31 balls against the seam, and he scored 1 single run. I don't think we should continue with this experiment, Samir. What is and he's a very good wicket keeper, one of the better wicket keepers I've seen for the West Indies in a very long time. So I really like his wicket keeping and his athleticism, but his batting, Samir, it's way off the mark in terms of what we're looking for from our wicket keeper, especially when he's expected to bat down at number 7, somewhere around there. What do you make of Tevin Imlach, and do you think the West Indies should persist with him?
I think it's going to be very tough. I think it's going to be very tough. They've given him 3 test matches. This is his 4th, right? He played 1 in India and he played 2, the first 2 test matches. Now this is the 3rd test match. So my feeling is that, he is going to be, in the drop zone, right? That's what it looks to me. But, he has 1 more innings possibly in this series. And then, it's just a question of, what management thinks. But I think they will have to go with somebody else here.
Yeah. All right. I see a lot of comments here talking about Captain Ruston Chase. Now, obviously, everyone has been very, very critical of Captain Ruston Chase, and I don't think we can continue with this at all, Samir. I mean, the captain has been woeful, not as a captain. Because I don't think captaincy or coaching is the issue with this team. I don't think if a new coach comes in, the team is going to be better or any much worse. And I don't think if we get a different captain, it makes a huge difference. With a team like the West Indies, you need your players to perform. You need your batsmen to score some runs. You need your bowlers to take wickets. And as a batsman, unfortunately, Chase is just not there, Samir. He has been very, very poor. And every innings when he clearly is out, he goes for a review. What do you make of Ruston Chase? I think the experiment really, initially, Samir, I was thinking, let's give the captain until the home series or the series next year against the weaker opposition, Sri Lanka and these teams. But after playing in 8 test matches, I mean, the captain is yet to score a single half century. I mean, this is just poor. I mean, I have to look at his average, but before this game, he was averaging 15. So now, obviously, it's considerably less. What do you make of the captain?
Roger, massive hit fans know, I've been critical of Chase since day one. Once again, it was very surprising when he was named captain after, Craig Brathwaite was sacked, right? And, once again, it wasn't the ideal situation. He started captaining in that Australia series, which ended up to be a 3-0 defeat. And, just put the pressure on him. And it's been along the way. But remember, he was never a regular test cricketer, right? Chase is known more for white ball exploits, right? He's very handy with the ball in the white ball format. And, he can score some good runs in down the order in the ODIs and T20s. So, that's what he was known for. And to bring him in as test captain, I think they've done him a disservice, especially for his white ball career. I think it's put undue pressure on him. And my feeling is that I think they will have to go look for somebody else now. The problem has been, who do you captain, right? Like, remember me and you initially had this discussion that maybe Hope should captain, but then you said, listen, Hope does not want to captain, right? The test which makes sense to remember in today's cricket. Hope is playing franchise cricket. He's playing, ODIs. He's playing T20s. And then when the tests, initially when Hope came back into the side along with Chase, he was also donning the gloves for the first few games, right? I think the first 4 games he donned the gloves. You saw that his batting wasn't up to the level of a Hope, right? Hope batting, especially in ODI and T20, is at such a spectacular level that you say, hey, listen, that's what you're looking for in Test cricket too. But as soon as you drop the gloves, Hope has been unbelievable with the bat too. And remember that 100 that he scored in New Zealand, he wasn't feeling good either. I think, he had an eye infection and he still scored 100. So, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow morning, Hope comes in, all ready to go and scores a big one again. You never know.
Absolutely. So, yes, Vante Williams, there is points for a drug. Go ahead, Samir.
Chase is an issue right now. I think what they need to do is they need to first figure out who the next captain will be. They have enough time. Remember, we're going into this white ball cricket season, right? There's a T20 World Cup that is going to be coming up. Fans, we're going to be covering the T20 World Cup extensively. Okay, it's going to be a long World Cup, right? Remember, I think it's a 40-day World Cup or something, almost 30, 40 days. So we're going to be covering that. So there is going to be time for West Indies to figure out who the next captain is, if they're going to chase out, right? That's what they're going to do now. And then the next question after that is going to be...
Is that a new headline? Chase.
Yeah, they're going to chase out now. Hey, listen, once again, it's nobody's fault. If you're averaging 15 as a captain, as you said, and now his average is going to be even lower after this test, it's tough to justify your place, right? And especially, it's not as if he's really doing a lot of bowling either. I know that this test match, he threw down 44 overs, but 1 wicket for 159. So I'm pretty sure somebody else can come in and do the job too.
Yeah. D Major General reckons Hope is being sabotaged. He reckons it's some sort of conspiracy against the West Indies' best batsman, because suddenly he has allergies, an eye infection in the second game, and then in the third game they decided, hey, you were still able to come out and bat with his protective shades. So we're going to do a little bit more to get rid of you. So now we're going to make sure it's food poisoning.
I think D Major...
I don't know. General, I don't know where you get this stuff from.
Roger, I don't know who D Major is, but I think D Major needs to go see a therapist.
Yeah. Guys, hit that like button. Guys, go ahead and like the video. How many likes do we have, Samir?
I think we got a few likes, but not enough.
Not enough.
We never have enough likes, though, Roger.
Yeah, guys, give us go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe.
So, Roger, the most important thing, obviously, listen, chase has been an issue for the team, right? Performance wise, but if you look at it overall, I'm very satisfied with West Indies in this test series. Yes, they lost the second test. Yes, they should have performed better, but I really do believe that West Indies has done extremely well in New Zealand.
Yeah. Prashanti here is saying he believes Imlak is a good batsman, but I feel he's feeling too much pressure. I mean, maybe he's under pressure. He did play nicely against the spin, which we have seen, played some nice inside-out cover drives. But I think it's a glaring weakness that he's very, very limited when playing against seam bowling. It's too limited. Way too limited for international cricket.
But
So
Roger,
right now, it's not a fit.
But Roger, do you think that Amlak has been dealt a bad hand too, in the prospect that he didn't play the home series against Australia? He didn't play the first test against India. You bring him in the second test, okay? Once again, India's a very dominant side. And then you take him to New Zealand. Maybe there is an argument to be made. I'm not making that argument. I'm just saying, the supporters of Amlak are going to make an argument saying he should be given a home series before you make that final judgment on it.
So what I would say is this, Samir. Maybe I think once Da Silva was dropped in Pakistan and Imlak came in, then he should have been given a run, a consistent.
No, but remember,
run.
he wasn't given a home series, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't given a run. Now he's been given a run, but I think that run should have been continuous. That way he could have felt.
Well, I think maybe the next home series,
I don't think we could continue. I don't think there's under any circumstances. Seeing how limited he is at this point, listen. It might seem as if it's a short run. It might seem a little bit unfair, but it's international cricket, and you have to be ruthless. I think we need a wicketkeeper who can actually bat.
Yes,
someone who can make money.
Listen, in perfect circumstances, it would be Hope, right? Donning the gloves and batting at number 4. But you do see that you can't have your best batsman overly tired when he comes to bat. That is the issue.
Yeah, no, for sure. The Major General, go ahead and take this one, Samir.
The Major General is giving a lot of comments. Thank you so much. Problem with Greaves. He's bowling too much now without both Joseph saves. Greaves, a batting all-rounder, despite what anybody thinks. Hey, listen, Greaves, you cannot, be too critical of Greaves. He has shown up with the bat. And I think, Greaves did a decent job with the ball. Remember, the other team scored 575. Greaves threw down 29 overs. He got 2 wickets for 83. I don't think we need to be overcritical of Greaves. Greaves has established himself as a test player now. Number 6, he's batting and he's shown up and he's scoring runs.
You think he's established?
Absolutely. Listen, the way he scored that 200 the other day, and then you saw him again yesterday. Your number 6 coming in and scoring a good 40 and a positive 40. So you can't just throw that to the side, Roger. Remember?
Yeah, no, he's there, but I don't know if I'd use the word established as yet.
In a side where the top batsmen are struggling to even score 10s and 20s, Greaves is standing up every time.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more comfortable with Test cricket, so I think he should go on from strength to strength. And now we're going to play a slightly weaker opponent, so he should cash in. Mr. Casanova, morning, is saying Chase is even worse than Imlak. At least Imlak made 27.
Hey, listen. I really do believe that Imlak will be given another opportunity at home. He has to be. Chase, that is the big question mark right now, right? Where does Chase fit? And the problem is that even on spinning wickets, not that Ijaz Patel for New Zealand did very well. He hasn't done well in this match either. But Chase really, really got beaten up, especially in the bowling department. And then batting, once again, we know he's not there at this point.
Yeah. Mr. Casanova here saying Roach should captain Orator. Why would we make Roach captain? There's no way we can make Roach captain because if you have all your bowlers fit, if both Josephs are fit and Seals is fit, most times Roach isn't going to get into the team. Roach is going to be that fourth or
very difficult. It'll be very difficult. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that Roach is injured. Is Roach injured too?
Yeah, he's got a hamstring.
Okay, so probably Roach, is going to be stuck at 294 or 295 wickets now.
Yeah.
So the next series, if you have all these guys fit, do you really select Roach for his 300 wickets? That's the question.
No, Roach is going to be there as a backup option, or if the West Indies play four seamers, then Roach will play. But as long as we're playing 3 seamers and those 3 guys are fit, Roach doesn't get in. So I don't think you want to make Roach captain because then you'll end up with the same situation we have with Jamal Warrican.
Here's Warrican situation.
Warrican also should not be the vice captain. So I think Alzari as captain, despite walking off the field and all his sort of anger issues that we're seeing, with him shouting at teammate again, I think we said it, perhaps what this team needs is someone who's going to be serious, not someone who's going to smile at every move. Mr. Denzel here is saying, Chase needs to step down, and someone here is saying that they feel Dalston St. Lucie, he feels sorry for Chase. He believes he is trying, but it's not. Of course, he's trying. He's definitely trying. The thing
Roger,
was,
I'm going to throw something out there. I'm going to throw something out there for everybody to think about. I know that, he was considered to be captain, but then, they said that he didn't have the required substance to be captain, right? But to be honest, if you're going to want a captain who can bat and ball, and I just mentioned this before, that he's established himself as a player in this team, I think Greaves might be the guy to go to. I'm just saying if you want to put, because remember with Alzari, you have those issues, but then also Alzari is also injured, right? So you want a captain who's always playing the games too, right? That's another thing that you got to look at. And if Hope isn't going to be captain, maybe Greaves after this series might be one that you can consider. Remember, he's not that young. He's not like Seals young, right? Seals is 25, right? I think, how old is Greaves? 31? So that's usually the perfect timing for somebody like Greaves to, be given the captaincy. He's going to be in the team all the time. There's not going to be any issues there. And then this will free up the rest of the team to perform as specialist players.
Mr. Casanova here is saying, Demo. Oh, that is Demo. He's saying that to Mr. Casanova, leave it to massive hit to make Imlak. I want to address this to make Imlak the issue. Chase has been far.
No, we didn't make Imlak the issue. The comments came in, and I, as I said, I've said it that hey, listen, Imlak will be given another opportunity at home, and Roger, you're absolutely right that he has major issues with batting, especially with the seamers. Any team, it doesn't matter, even if Bangladesh is visiting you, if Pakistan's visiting you, if Sri Lanka's coming in, even the lower tier teams, any of those teams will come in. If Amlak is going to come into bat, I won't be putting any spinners on. I'll put the pace on.
Exactly. Let me make this very, very clear. I want to go on record here. I believe both Imlak and Chase should go. Both Imlak and Chase needs to be
And
dropped.
I'm saying Chase has to go, but Imlak, you give him another shot.
Yes, I'm getting rid of both. Chase has not shown that he's going to make any runs for this team, right? He's been very, very poor as a batsman for this team. And that's where it starts. That's his first line of responsibility. So let me go on record saying that. I'm not talking about Chase as captain. I don't care who's captain because that's not going to make a huge difference. I think Jaden Seals, what's his name? Alzar Joseph, any of these guys, even if they come back and tell us Greaves is the captain, it's okay. Right? As long as the captain can hold his place in the team, I'm fine. Right? Now, Imlak has shown that he's very, very limited when it comes to batting and scoring against seam bowling. Last night, 31 balls, 1 run against seam. Okay, and this has been a consistent theme throughout his career. This is not something that just happened last night. I've been saying this over and over. He's very, very limited against seam bowling. His captain came out and said that in the media. When have you heard a captain, Demo, come out in the media and say, I'm watching one of my players bat and I cannot see how he's going to score any runs? When have you ever seen this anywhere, Demo? Where have you ever seen this? I've never seen this before.
And Roger, on top of it, the captain can't score any runs either.
And the captain can't score any runs, and he's saying that about one of his players.
Two guys. Listen, you have two guys that are down. You're playing with 9. And then Roach is injured, and Hope can't bat right now. You're really playing with 7 guys? That's what it is?
We had a white New Zealand player fielding for us, Samir.
Yes, we did.
I looked on the field, and I was thinking, who is this guy fielding?
Why wasn't Warwick fielding? Was he already fielding too?
Why wasn't Darren Sammy fielding?
Yeah.
He could go on the field.
There
Or Claude Reaper.
There's 4 players on the bench. Why weren't those 4 players on the bench fielding?
Yeah. Tell me something. Kane Williamson hits a ball in the air to this Kiwi player. Is he going to catch it?
No, I think he will catch it.
Come on, Samir.
But at the same point, my problem is not that. I know that, Roach is injured, and I know that Hope is not feeling good. But my problem was more about what happened with the other 4 bench players. Why didn't Chanderpaul come in? Or why didn't, we bring in Lane, right? Why wasn't Lane fielding? Or Warwican? Why weren't any of these fielding?
Lane was fielding. Lane was on the field.
What about OJ Shields? Why wasn't he fielding?
He's injured.
Okay, so why wasn't Chanderpaul fielding?
He's injured.
No, he's not injured. You can still come and stand on the boundary.
He has a side strain. That's a bad injury.
Come on, Roger. You got to do sometimes. You got to do things for your team. Okay. Now I've been a Chanderpaul supporter. You know that I had Chanderpaul at number 3 in this game. Obviously Hodge, I did my number 5, but now Hodge has scored 100 at number 3. Right. It's the same situation. We keep on getting stuck in these situations. Right. John Campbell scores 100 in India. He's gonna keep batting as an opener forever. That once again, there has to be certain things that you do for your team. In my opinion, what Chase should have done is Chase should have gone to the boundary, talked to Sammy and said, listen, give me one of my injured players. I'm going to put them on the boundary, and that's it. It doesn't matter if I give a 4 or not. We've already given up 500 runs. We need to have our players there.
Mr. Casanova is here saying, we allowed the Silver to fail for 3 years. Let's let Imlak stay. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Roger, we have to give Imlak at least another couple of tests. To be honest, I know it's critical, and I agree.
I don't think Imlak looked this hopeless with the bat, Samir. I don't think Imlak had looked this bad with the bat. Not Imlak, that's Silver.
Yeah, but Imlak, I'm telling you something. Whenever you give a test player an opportunity to play, it is very important to give him an opportunity to play at home. Remember, at home, you do have a significant advantage. You do have the advantage of knowing the conditions, and you know that you're playing in front of your crowd that is supporting you. So I do believe that you have to give Imlach another chance, at least one more test to see what he can do.
I agree with you, Kirk. I would drop both as well. Um, I don't necessarily think we're missing another bowling option. I think that we just don't have our frontline bowlers just are not as strong as we want them to be, right? So if we had the same number of bowling options, but it was the two Josephs instead of Phillips and an injured Roach, then obviously we would have been better. Roach is pretty good and has been good in these conditions. So I'm not even going to say instead of Roach.
But Roger, you have to also understand injuries happen. Look at New Zealand. They've lost like 5 players in this series, and they keep going, right? I haven't had any excuses from the New Zealand side, right? They're like, hey, listen, man down, next man steps up. That's it.
Demo, Demo thinks that Imlach should continue playing.
What can I say?
Yeah.
What can I say? Listen, I know Demo's a very excited West Indian fan, but once again, we gotta keep our emotions in check.
The Major General here, he reckons Joel Andrew. I don't think Joel Andrew is ready. I mean, I think he was. Yeah, he was.
I think Jungwoo's the only guy who's ready. If we have to bring him in, and that's another one that I'm very, very surprised that 1 year of cricket has gone by and Jungwoo has just not been given a consistent run either in cricket in general. He's been given spot opportunities in T20, spot opportunities in an ODI, and no Test cricket till now.
Yeah. Morning, guys. Morning, CM United. Guys, hit that like button. Yes, CM United. The captain is not scoring any runs, and we have definitely called for the captain to be dropped from the team. By the way, guys, what do you guys think about the Ashes action that's been going on in Australia? Samir, I mean, England completely on the ropes here. I mean, being battered and bruised by the Australians. Brilliant. Absolutely top stuff there from Travis Head, scoring 170. What do you make of this game?
Roger, England's in trouble. I don't see them winning this game. There is a possibility of a draw. They said that day 5 there's going to be some inclement weather. So if we do lose some time because of weather, there is an opportunity that England can draw this game and stay in the series. I don't see them in any way winning this game. There's 4 wickets left. There's 200 plus runs. Australia's too good. Once again, you might need a miracle innings, but who's going to deliver that miracle innings is the question. I don't see anybody from England at this point delivering a miracle innings to win this game.
The byplay between Jofra Archer and Captain Ben Stokes. Jofra, many of us, have said, we wish Jofra was playing for the West Indies, but obviously he's English. Didn't bowl or wasn't as aggressive or as fast in the first couple of games as England wanted him to be. Came out in the second innings of Test number 2 when Australia needed a handful of runs to win and bowled the fastest spell of his career in Test cricket and was criticized allegedly by the captain after the game. And the captain said, we don't want weak characters in the team. Many thought he was talking about Jofra because why would he come and bowl that quickly when the game is over? Where was this all along? And we saw them going back and forth, arguing a little bit in this game. Even when Ben Stokes was dismissed or while they were batting together, the body language between Stokes and Jofra did not look right, Samir. It seemed as if something was off. And it was being forced. And even when Stokes got out, Jofra ran from the pitch to the boundary to congratulate Stokes for being out for 80 yard. Weird stuff.
Hey, real problems in England, right? Real problems with the English team. My feeling, once again, listen, we do believe that this was the best game Jofra Archer has had in his career, right? 5 for 53 in the first innings and then got another 50 odd, right? And he was 50. I think, was this his first 50 in Test cricket? So once again, listen, 50 odd. And I don't think he bowled badly in the second innings either. I think he only bowled like 12 overs, but he bowled pretty decent. I think England's just in trouble. It doesn't matter how you put it. England's in trouble. Root did have that century in the pink Test, but Root didn't have a lot of runs. I think both innings he got starts but couldn't get going. Harry Brooks the same way. Both innings they get starts, they're not going. If Brooks isn't scoring runs, if Root isn't scoring runs, England is not winning. It's as simple as that. Not against this Australian team.
Yeah, they're definitely on the rope. I think England are definitely going to go down 3-0.
I'm predicting they're going to lose by 120 odd runs, 122, let's call it, and those are the runs that Usman Khwaja scored.
Are they going to get 5-0, Samir?
I think they're on the road to 5-0. Weather is going to decide if it's going to be 4-0 or 5-0. I think there's rain expected tomorrow. That's why I think Australia was in a hurry yesterday. And that's why, they lost their last 6 wickets for 30-odd runs. They just wanted to get it going and score as many runs because they know there's a weather situation today. So it all depends on the weather. If we get a good 40, 50 overs on day 5, it's going to be 5-0. But right now it's going to be 3-0 for sure, depending on weather tomorrow.
Yeah. Top cracking stuff going on over there in Australia. Spoil it 202 here saying Django is the best wicketkeeper option before we go back to De Silva. And I'm not even sure about going back to De Silva as a wicketkeeper. I actually think De Silva may certainly is he someone that you could also try as a batsman, right? Not necessarily just as a wicket. I don't think he was the best glove man to begin with. And I don't think De Silva is particularly good batting down the order because he's just not someone who's going to farm the strike or take on the bowling with the tail. Perhaps he could bat higher in the order like he does to Trinidad and Tobago. Django, perhaps a good option as a keeper with the bat. The problem with Django is I am not sure how good his wicket keeping is over the long haul. He doesn't keep much in first class cricket. So that might be an issue.
Roger, to be honest, the batting is starting to resolve itself, right? We have obviously Campbell has issues, playing too early, and you've seen him get out every time in the slip cordon or caught behind. But once again, he's scoring the runs. Remember, me at least at Massive Hit, and you obviously the same thing. We've always supported scoring runs for batsmen. That's it. It doesn't matter how you get them, but you got to get the runs, right? You got to score runs. Campbell has scored runs now. He hasn't scored a lot. He doesn't average a great number, but in the last 3-4 tests, he's averaging right around that 30-35. So he's going to be given another opportunity to keep going. King just got back into the side in the second test, and he's already shown up and scored some runs too, right? So now the opening combination is going to be the same going back home to the home series. Kevem Hodge, once again, has scored 100. I think he scores a lot more tomorrow. He's going to be number 3, at least for the foreseeable future, the next couple of series. And then Hope is not being dislodged at number 4. So your top order is set. Athenes had a good showing yesterday. Greaves has been very consistent and scored that double century in the first test match. So your top 6 is going to be pretty much set right now. The question is going to be who's number 7. Is Chase still in the side? Is that a keeping spot? You bring in a new keeper or you give Amlak another opportunity? And then remember, the bowling is pretty much set too. Once the Alzaris and the Shamars of the team come back, along with Seals, there's not going to be much of an opportunity to bring in many other players. I think Django might be the only one who you could fix at number 7, depending on his keeping, or you bring in Amlak again for a couple of tests.
Right. Kirk Arnoud here, Samir, is saying, Mr. Massive Hit, Archer's fed up of England. Maybe he should quit playing for England and play for the West Indies team because he's going to be picked ASAP.
Where is he going to play? You already got the bowling. You already got Seals, you got Alzari, you got Shamar. Kemar Roach is in the background, getting the 300. Where do you play?
We'd go back to a 4-prong, Samir. We'd go back to a 4-prong for sure. I mean, if you have Archer, you definitely in most tests. I mean, but you could all listen. There are always going to be injuries. There are always going to be an opportunity to rest fast bowlers. If Archer wants to come, let's do it.
I don't think he's coming back, and my feeling is that West Indies is not going to select him.
Oh, they would have to.
I don't think so. I think if Archer is done in England, which is he isn't. I don't think he is. He has a white ball career in England, which is still there. Remember, Ben Stokes doesn't play white ball cricket. So if it's a Ben Stokes Archer problem, Archer is still going to be there for white ball cricket, which I've always said. I don't think that Ben Archer should really be a full-time Test cricketer. I think you need him for the white ball side anyway. So that's there, and then on top of it, Archer can have a thriving franchise career, just like we've spoken about Nicholas Pooran, right? And all these West Indian players who've done extremely well in franchise cricket. I think he's going to go back to franchise cricket at that point.
You know what, Samir? Nicholas Pooran, he quit playing for the West Indies. He retired, and he recently did an interview with Moeen Ali and Rashid or Adil Rashid, where he said this was the best thing for his career, and he's now moving to the next phase. I would like to posit to you guys that I don't think Nicholas Pooran has been the same since his retirement. I think he's fallen off just a little bit. He's not had the same level of consistency, and it could be because again, is he still? Do you still train with the same level of intensity when you're not playing international cricket? You're not necessarily facing the same level of bowlers, right? It's like a former international or first class player coming to play here in South Florida, Samir. When at first they're going to be a notch above us, the regular local league players, but eventually they fall in line. Their level is going to fall, right? I don't know if I've seen the same from Nicholas Pooran. The other thing to notice, Samir, West Indian players, only 2 were bought in this IPL auction, Jason Holder and Akil Hussain, and none of them went for big money. And if your players, if your international T20 team is not playing well, if you're not competing for World Cups, it means you don't have that spotlight. There's a reason why so many South African players are being picked, because South Africa is the form international side at this point. They're performing very well. So guess what? All their players are being picked. When the West Indies won that World Cup in 2016, the IPL was full of West Indian players. Everyone was getting an opportunity. The fringe West Indian players were getting an opportunity because everyone was saying, wait, there's something going on in the West Indies team. We have to tap into what's going on there. Everyone coming out of the Caribbean is a big hitter. The Caribbean has all of these all-rounders, okay? Now, no one is that impressed with the talent coming out of the West Indies, even in T20 cricket. It's very, very obvious. Only the old T20 West Indian stalwarts are in the IPL. They're being retained. The Robman Powells, the Andre Russells, these guys are fading out now. Pollard has faded out. Bravo is gone. Sunil Narayan is probably going to have his last couple of seasons, right? So what's going to happen soon? I think the guys like Nicholas Pooran, and again, if they're looking out for West Indian cricket and the other West Indian players, it would be prudent for them to understand that having a strong international team, having a strong team in T20 is what is going to have these franchises thinking, I need to get players from the West Indies. Keep in mind, you look at guys like Hetmeyer, his nephew's playing cricket. They have, friends playing cricket. Are you just going to look out for yourself, or do you want to also build for the next generation of West Indian cricketers? That's very, very important, Samir.
Absolutely. Well said, Roger. You're right on the money. International cricket is at a different level compared to franchise cricket. But at the same time, Roger, there's so much franchise cricket being played that I think, these players are just very comfortable in saying, hey, listen, we're just going to keep on playing, all these different tournaments. Remember, there's the Abu Dhabi League. There's the UAE League. I've heard there's a Saudi League coming. There's the PSL. There's the IPL. There's the Big Bash. New Zealand wants a league, right? South Africa has a league. England has the 100 and then the leagues. West Indies has CPL. USA has, Major League Cricket. So there's so much opportunity. And if you're a decent player that can show up to play cricket on any given day, you will be given that opportunity. I think, listen, that's why, I've said this all along that I think the West Indian captain Chase has done himself a disservice. His test performance is going to hurt his chances to play franchise cricket and white ball.
Demo, I think Demo has a listening problem, Samir.
I think so too.
I think Demo has a serious listening problem. I said 2 players were bought in the auction, Demo. Yes, there are some more players who have been retained.
Demo has his emotions running high, Roger. He needs to control his emotions.
Demo, Jason Holder and Akil Hussain were the only 2 West Indian players bought in the IPL auction a couple of days ago. Yes, we all know that Sunil Narayan is still there. We all know that Nicholas Pooran is still there. Those are retired players. We all know that Shepherd is still there. We all know that Rutherford is still there. Yeah, that is not what we're saying, Demo.
No,
you have to listen.
I think Roger, it's you gotta give fans a little leeway. The reason is they're fans, right? They have their emotions. They want to say things which is out there, and sometimes once again in the heat of the moment, especially in a live stream, you're typing and you sometimes type things which obviously don't make sense at the end of the day.
Mr. Casanova, brilliant observation, Mr. Casanova, and well said, Mr. Casanova. International cricket is a pinnacle of cricket.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. Quinton de Kock, at the end of his career, and obviously he quit and he came back. Quinton de Kock, seeing what South Africa is doing right now, seeing that South Africa is just won the World Test Championship, right? Remember, this is a nation that was out of cricket for years due to their apartheid system or regime, okay? Came back into cricket and were seen as cursed. They were always very talented, one of the best teams in the world. But when they got to ICC events, would always be one of the favorites and will always choke. That's the word that was constantly used, right? They were favorites in the semifinals, favorites in quarterfinal. They calculated the Duckworth from Lewis calculations. They did that wrong. Yeah. So they were seen as cursed. And now they've made a breakthrough. They won the World Test Championship. They're one of the favorites for not only the T20 World Cup coming up, but also the 50 over World Cup coming up. They're playing excellent cricket. They are one of the teams who they have rotated their team. They've brought in Bavuma out, Rickleton in, De Kock in, and they're just rotating these guys, and they're losing nothing. Everyone comes in and performs, and the next game, the coach just switches everything up, and everyone is performing. Do you think Quinton de Kock is going to want to sit on the sidelines and not be a part of this? He's not. He's going to want to be in that picture lifting the World Cup if South Africa ends up winning the next time. That's going to be his legacy. Legacy is very, very important to international and professional cricketers. Okay? Nicholas Pooran probably looks at the West Indies team and figures we're never going to win a World Cup, so it doesn't matter. But at the same time, to keep your game at a certain level and to maintain that, especially when you're 29 years old, does he plan on having a long career? Is he planning on playing until he's 40? Because what usually happens is you retire from international cricket and you start fading away from the franchise scene after another, let's say, 4 years, right? That's what usually happens. Those players, their careers usually end a bit earlier than the guys who are at the top of their game, the peak of their game, until let's say they're 34, 35 years old, and then they will finish in franchise cricket. Yes, I understand that at your peak is when you're going to command the big dollars. But even if Nicholas Pooran is playing international cricket, that is not going to, he's still going to command the big money.
So, Roger, if you remember...
as a matter of fact, non-international players typically do not demand big money.
So, Roger, it was on the Massive Hit Cricket Show where I predicted that Nicholas Pooran would retire due to the circumstances, right? Mm-hmm. And it happened. And I still believe that there is a way back for Nicholas Puran into the team, especially in the white ball format. It is just a question of, if and when we get there.
Yeah. Demo is saying it was a question about the 7 players in the IP. All right, Demo. All right. So we forgive you.
He's recomposed and his emotions are in check now.
All right, Demo. I thought Demo was saying 7 players. Okay, fine. All right, cool. Mr. Arnold here is saying if they pressure Archer, the door will open for him, even Salt, because we don't have a full cupboard of players. He's talking about
England 11 now, back to the England 11.
He's talking about Phil Salt, Samir, because he grew up in Barbados.
Yes, I know. So what I'm saying is, hey, listen, so now we're going to have all these players come back.
Why not?
Roger, West Indies cricket is on the mend. It is improving. You have to continue giving the players who've now started to formulate a better strategy for the team. The bowling has started to come back now. Remember, Seals, Shamar, Alzari, they have shown significant improvement in their bowling and they continue to improve, right? The batting is starting to improve. I'm not saying that it's at the top level, it isn't. But listen, Brandon King, once again, I think, his test knocks are going to help him in his ODI form. Just like Hope's ODI form helped his test cricket, right? It works both ways. For all formats count. And I do believe that, West Indies is on the mend. Before we open the door for a Phil Salt or even a Archer, even though they're not coming, let's just assume that they're coming. Before we open the door to them, I think we need to first fully give this player or the bunch of players that are there the full opportunity. And once they fail, that's when I would like some of those other players to come in.
Yeah. Listen, England, they have so many players some here from other countries, right?
Yes, of course.
Right. They have South Africans, they have Kiwis. Ben Stokes, their captain, is a Kiwi. Nasser Hussain, one of their great leaders, he's Indian.
No, he grew up in England, Roger. Once again, let's not say that these people are just once again, the Archer situation is different. Remember, once again, I don't think the Archer situation can be compared to the Ben Stokes situation. You understand the point? Once again, there's no comparison there. Yes, he was
Kevin Peterson. Look at New Zealand.
He played his cricket in England and he grew up an Englishman. You know what I mean?
Well, look at New Zealand though. They have Devon Conway. They have the other left-hander who plays in the CPL. What's his name? Colin Monroe. These guys are South Africans. They have Ravindra, Indian.
But Roger, they didn't grow up in
Glenn Phillips, South African. These guys are not native Kiwis.
No, they aren't. But at the same point, they spend a lot of their time in New Zealand.
Yeah.
The Archer situation is very different. The Archer situation has a lot to do with money. I think the Conway situation, the Ben Stokes situation, that is not a money situation.
Yeah. Jamal Richards just moved to the Caribbean.
Nasser Hussain grew up in England.
Yeah. Jamal Richards, who has West Indian and Jamaican background, just moved back to the Caribbean. He's going to try to make it for the West Indies team. But you see, I don't know how good he is. I mean, he's played a handful of first-class games. And a lot of
what I'm debating and what I'm saying is, listen, this is not the beginning of 2025. Okay, this is the end of 2025. The team has improved significantly. I've been the biggest critic of the West Indian team, especially the test match team, right? But to be honest, now I've seen that they're improving and they keep on improving. I think India obviously was a tough tour, but I think New Zealand, they've come back pretty good.
Yeah. Charles Joseph here saying, enjoying this cricket live cricket chat. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much for the kind words, Charles. Guys, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that like, guys. And again, follow us on Instagram at Massive Hit.
Roger, we have another comment too from Vikas Modi.
Hold on, Samir. Guys, if you like these hoodies, as you can see, great quality. Samir,
very nice.
How does the material feel, Samir?
Roger, it's a very, very good quality hoodie. It's a zip-up hoodie, and I'm still waiting for my regular hoodie. I need an extra large. I keep saying that to you. It's a good hoodie. Look. It's a good hoodie.
It's great. It's great.
Yep,
It's
there you go.
smooth and
Amazing hoodie.
yes. Afina here saying on the happy side, Anthony Joshua beat Jake Paul. Yeah, top stuff. Did you watch your fight, Samir?
I didn't, but I got up around 5 this morning and I went to BBC.com and I saw that Jake Paul got his ass whooped.
Yeah. Who is worse? Oh my goodness, West Indies or England? Samir, who's worse?
No. I think England is playing Australia, which is a very, very good team.
But England has lost a lot of Test cricket, Samir. They're close to the bottom of the World Test Championship also.
Yeah, but Roger, remember England played India. It was 2-2 at home. And then they came to Australia thinking that they would bully Australia. Well, Australia has some world-class players. And remember, even Australia was missing some of their best players, but their replacement, the bench, was amazing. I think England, from a strategy perspective, is going to look back and say, listen, I think this 100% commitment to baseball hasn't really worked out, at least in Australia. It might work out against the lesser teams, but it hasn't been able to work out against Australia.
Samir, take this comment. It's someone asking to bring someone back who is not sure to cement a place in the team.
If they bring back Joshua Silva, who was improving with his batting, they can try him as a captain. He was vice captain earlier. He has a good captain's brain, as seen in breakout leagues and 4-day games. Once again, listen, I'm not saying that De Silva doesn't deserve to be in the side if he performs continuously and is on the top of the run charts in local cricket. Absolutely, you give him a shot. But at this point, you'll have to give Amlak another test or two to see what he can do. And then there's Jungwoo sitting there, a talent that I think, is not being used at this point. Remember, Jungwoo had a century on debut in ODI and did very well in the T20s whenever he's been given the opportunity.
Victoria here is saying she has a squad for 2026. So Jason Holder, captain. That's not as bad as saying Josh DeSilva, because we know that if Jason Holder is playing, we know that Jason Holder will hold his place in the team, right?
So Roger, once again, let me stop you right there. You're going to have Jason Holder and Justin Greaves.
That's the only issue.
That's an issue. So Greaves just scored a double. How can you now go to Greaves and say, hey, listen, you did extremely well for us, but we got Jason Holder coming in. You're going to be sitting on the bench. You'll be part of the squad, but you're going to be sitting on the bench. How unfair would that be? Yeah. And then there's no way,
unless I find a way to play both, which is not great.
It's very difficult. In Test cricket, you need specialists. Yeah. Remember, we're just seeing, what happens when you don't have specialists in the squad. Once again, where is Athens in the squad? Why is Athens not part of the squad, right? There has to be these players who are going to be part of the squad who are starting to perform. And once again, I want more and more of my test players to be all format players.
I do like the selection of Goooddddd Moti.
You do see Shai Hope, right? He's an all format player. You're starting to see him blossom in every format. He scored a century in the last 6 months in Test cricket, in ODI cricket, and in T20 cricket. That's what you need from your players.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Arnold here is saying he's shocked at the way. I don't think shocked at the way. He's talking about Alzari. Alzari has the ability. Alzari has test first class hundreds, Samir, and he has a couple of 80s in Test cricket. There was a point where Alzari definitely looked as if he, obviously has ability as a lower order player, but probably doesn't care enough about batting to really, push forward, right? He probably just doesn't care. It's like Mitchell Stark, right? I don't think Mitchell Stark performs when he needs to, but if Australia is losing, he'll just come and swing his bat and go, right? I think it's
Listen, come on, Stark is a different breed. Once again, listen, I hate when we start making these comparisons for no
I'm saying he
reason.
has a similar ability to Mitchell Stark. He does.
No, Roger, come on. It's Mitchell Stark now is being compared to legends like Wasim Akram, especially in the bowling, but also his batting. Remember, Wasim Akram used to also come in, and Wasim Akram had a
Wait. Hold on, Samir. I'm not comparing Alzari to Mitchell Stark as a bowler. I'm talking about the batting aspect, a lower order batsman. Ability. I know Stark has made some half centuries recently, but I'm saying Stark. I'm saying Alzari has similar batting ability to Mitchell Stark.
You got to give him time. Yeah, let's not compare Alzari to Stark. Let's say, hey, listen, Alzari is his own player, and he is starting to show. Remember, he's done extremely well with with the West Indian cricket team, right? So you're going to give him the opportunity whenever he comes back, if he's fit. Remember, Test cricket is all about fitness too, right? Not only do you have to perform, but you have to also stay fit, especially if you're a fast bowler.
Roblox gamer saying, what about Kyle Mears? He will not be making the West Indies side again. Test OD. What happened to him? I don't know. I mean, he's been given a couple of opportunities recently. He went to Nepal, did not distinguish himself. I think Kyle Mears is one of those guys who he came in the West Indies team, made a double hundred on debut, made good runs in Test cricket. I think he still averages over 30 in Test cricket. Very few West Indian batsmen averages 30 in Test cricket. Was looking as if he was a good all-rounder. Started to get some T20 contracts around the world. And I think he's one of them who definitely would have appeared as if he was using West Indies as a platform to just get to the franchise circuit. And he thought that was the ultimate place. Started to make himself unavailable for Test cricket. Declined the West Indies contract. Fell out of favor with the franchise circuit because the franchise circuit is brutal some year. KL Rahul spoke about this on an interview recently where he said, most of these franchise owners, they don't come from cricket. They're not cricketers. They don't understand cricket. So they question players. They put a lot of pressure on players to perform. And they're very rude to players. As a matter of fact, Rutherford was sent home from the St. Kitts franchise a couple of seasons ago because, he essentially responded to the owner in a manner that the owner didn't like because the owner basically was saying to him, why aren't you scoring runs? KL Rahul said the owners, at Punjab, they treated him very poorly. They would ask questions like, why isn't the ball spinning as much as this other guy? They don't understand the nuances of cricket. They don't understand that a batsman can just get a great ball. They just think, I'm paying you 1.2 million. You need to make runs. You need to win the game. Why didn't we win? They don't understand that you can lose a close game. If you don't get the rub off the green, if luck doesn't go your way, you can easily get out. A lot of these owners, they don't understand these things. They don't understand the nuances. And so yeah, I mean, Kyle Mayers fell out of favor. I don't know if Darren Sammy is a big Kyle Mayers fan. I mean, Darren Sammy brought Kyle Mayers back as a replacement. And the funny thing is, Mayers did well before the last T20 World Cup, had a good home series against South Africa. He was not selected for the World Cup team, right? And, everyone, there was obviously some controversy, right? Because Johnson Charles was selected ahead of him. When Brandon King got injured, he was then brought into the team, played 2 games, and then suddenly was out of favor for a very long time. So I'm not even sure if Sammy is, and again, listen, every coach has a right to have certain players that they trust, certain players that they think will play well for them. If I'm a coach, and I'm sure it's the same for you. There are going to be certain players or certain characteristics that you like in certain players. Maybe it's a work ethic. Maybe it's a fighting spirit. So there are certain guys that you want to go to war with, and there are certain guys who you think when you get on the battlefield, if someone shoots at you, they're going to run.
Absolutely, Roger, you're absolutely right. This is world cricket. This is international cricket. Compared to franchise, it's a different story altogether. And remember, I think people are more involved in international cricket. Fans are more involved in international cricket. If you don't perform on the franchise circuit, fans are still forgiving. But I think, once you get to the international level, every fan wants their team to perform and they want their favorite players to do very well.
Yeah. Mr. Daniel. Yeah, I don't know if Older wants to be captain again. I mean, I haven't heard him say anything about it, but yes, Hossein did captain the team to Nepal. I don't know if Older was offered a job. I don't remember if I heard that.
I think Jason Holder is happy with his his T20 place in the side right now. I don't think he's looking to play a lot of Test cricket. I don't think so.
This one's for you, Samir. I would like for you to answer this one.
Keith Victor, Rovman Powell is interested in Test cricket. I think he's a great leader. We saw aspects of his leadership in the white ball format, can make a difference in Test format. Unfortunately, I don't think that will happen until we have a regime change. Sammy might not be selector and coach for that, if that ever happens.
But do you think Rovman would make a good Test player?
Once again, listen, I think he's a very good T20 player. He's a very good ODI player. And I believe, I've said this again and again. I want all my...
He wasn't that good in ODIs.
Huh?
He wasn't that good in ODIs.
But Roger...
He had a couple of good innings, but...
Roger, once again, Powell's the same thing, right? Powell's like Puran, okay? He's chosen that he's going to be playing a lot of franchise cricket. That's what
I don't know about that. I don't think Rovman has ever declined a West Indies contract or declined selection.
No. But what I'm saying is,
Rovman has always made himself available. I think if Rovman is selected for Test cricket, he would play Test cricket. I just don't know if he would be a good Test cricketer. Because Rovman, whenever he's home or he has time, he plays 4-day cricket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And when he played ODI, he played very well, right? Yes, the results weren't there, and that's the reason why he hasn't continued. But once again, T20, you see his form in T20. It's been very, very good. Yes, He had a lean patch in between, but as captain of T20, he was actually pretty successful. I think he didn't jive with the coach, so the coach made a change. And I was very concerned that Powell, how he would perform once he was dropped as captain. And he's shown his maturity, and he's actually played very well for West Indies after his captaincy.
Roblox are saying definitely Warren needs to be removed as vice captain.
Yeah, Warren doesn't play every game. That's the problem.
Yeah. I don't know if Brandon King. I don't think we should have a permanent vice captain. We don't have to. Or maybe Shai Hope could be a vice captain. I know Shai Hope doesn't want to captain the Test team, but perhaps having him as a deputy,
stepping in just in case. Let's say if you make Alzari the captain, right, or Greaves the captain, and they're injured, that is when Hope can come in, just like what Steve Smith did in the first 2 Test matches when Pat Cummins wasn't there.
Right. Brandon King. I'm gonna have to Brendan Nash, the only player with Caribbean background to play for the West Indies. I'm gonna have to do some research on that, Kirk. Anyone in the chat knows? Anyone in the chat remembers if there were other players with Caribbean background that played for the West Indies and qualified that way? I know Brendan Nash. And Brendan Nash did pretty well for the West Indies. He averages about 34, 35 in Test cricket some year. And he actually was, I think he was dropped a bit early, right? But then again, in those days, maybe the West Indies team had higher standards, right? I mean, Wavell Hines averages 33 in Test cricket. He was thrown out the door very quickly. I think the team had higher standards. These days, we can't even get someone to average 30. Jermaine Blackwood, I think, averages 30 still, and he was thrown out the team. And all of these guys know average 28.
These players, it's just not just being thrown out or being dropped. There's a lot of other things that are happening, in this whole scenario, right? That's what I'm trying to explain to everybody, that the Nicholas Puran situation, the Rovman Powell dropping as captain of T20, it had a lot of other things besides cricket, right? It was the philosophies didn't meet, right? The mindset wasn't there. I think, Sammy, his comments right before he took over selector and the coach job about Puran, I think rubbed Puran the wrong way and pushed him into retirement, right? I don't think he would have retired if there was a different personality at the helm. Same thing with Roman Powell. Remember, me and you had that conversation where Roman Powell wanted to go with the flow of the game and the natural instincts, while Sammy was pushing for, to go by the stat book, right? The AI of cricket, right? That's what he wanted to do. And then Sammy giving instructions, on the boundary didn't go well with a Powell personality, right? So that's what it is. Hope. The reason why I think he gets along with Sammy well is because I think Hope is a little bit more relaxed, right? He's more confident about his cricket. You've seen that, right? Hope is very confident, especially in the white ball. The test ball, he's getting there now, but the white ball cricket, he's so confident that, I don't think he has that insecurity when, Sammy is throwing instructions from outside. So it's a personality mix. You see that with, Indian cricket too. Look at Gautam Gambhir, and, he doesn't get along with the seniors. Now you just saw this morning that Shabnam Gill, the captain of the test team, has been thrown out of the T20 team, and they announced a World Cup team without Shabnam Gill.
Yeah, is that shocking though? Because
extremely shocking. But it's the personality.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
The Agarkars and the Gautam Gambhirs, who management and selection and coach, they want to have certain amount of control.
But is Jaiswal in that T20 squad?
I don't think Jaiswal is either. I think they brought Ishan Kishan back.
Yeah, they did.
So what I'm saying is, right now at this point, it's also about the personalities. The selector wants to be involved and known that what he is doing, right? The coach wants to be involved and say, I want to be involved in it too, as much as the players are involved. So that's what we're seeing. And I think India and West Indies have those comparisons. India is going towards that. Remember when Ravi Shastri was coach, Rahul Dravid was coach, you didn't hear a lot of these rumblings in the side. Now with Gautam Gambhir, there's a lot of rumblings. There's the Kohli, Sharma, Gambhir issue. There's now this Shabnam Gill issue. I'm pretty sure Shabnam Gill is going to be very upset that he has been dropped, even though he didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he didn't perform at the level that India is expecting. But remember, he just got off an England tour where the guy scored 800, 900 runs, right?
Yeah. A lot of people are commenting on that Brandon King looks bigger and stronger. Like, yes, Brandon King is a beast. Brandon King is hitting the ball very hard. It looks like he's definitely doing some work. But I want to take this comment here from Roblox. Rumors that if West Indies don't do well in the upcoming series of Sri Lanka and Pakistan, then Sammy could be sacked. All right, so
very possible.
Yeah. And that's fine. All of these calls for the head coach to be fired are very, very premature, in my opinion. West Indies cricket has much bigger problems than Darren Sammy.
But not only that, they've improved. As the Sammy era has gone forward, I think the team has improved.
Yeah, their team is playing decent right now in New Zealand, right? They're definitely being competitive in New Zealand. No one expected, if any of you in here expected the West Indies to go and beat New Zealand, then you're joking. If any one of you here expected the West Indies to win a game or to beat India in India, I'm sorry.
It was going to be tough. It was going to be tough.
But you're not paying attention to the cricket. Even better teams than the West Indies do not go to India and win. If any of you believe that the West Indies would have beaten Australia in the Caribbean, I'm sorry, you have a problem. The West Indies were pretty competitive in that Australian series for the first, let's say, 3 days of those test matches. Even the game that the West Indies got bowled out for 27. If anyone remembers, the West Indies were chasing only about 200, which means the West Indies had a chance. Okay? Which means the West Indies had a chance in that game. So at the end of the day, we have to be realistic. Now, Sri Lanka and Pakistan should be closer to the West Indies level. That is where we're going to judge Darren Sammy and what he's doing. We have to give him those couple of series. And if Darren Sammy does crap, or the team does crap in those series, by all means, Now we can start talking about firing Darren Sammy. But if you bring the best coach in the world to coach this team, let's get Stephen Fleming. Let's get Ricky Ponting. Let's get what's a Pakistan coach called now from New Zealand, Samir? Mike Hessen. If we get Brendan McCollum, we're not beating Australia. We're not beating India. We're not beating New Zealand. So this, if we lose 1-0 in New Zealand or even 2-0 in New Zealand, it's a good result for this team. And where we are, what we have to look forward to is, are the players improving? Are we now getting some hundreds? Remember, in the previous test cycle, the West Indies had 200s from Kavem Hodge and one from, I don't remember who else. Who has made 100 in that cycle? I know Kavem Hodge made 100 in that cycle.
I don't remember.
Someone else made 100.
Listen, there weren't many hundreds to be made, so nobody remembers.
But in this cycle, we've gotten a couple from Hope. We've gotten 100 from Greaves. We've gotten 100 from Hodge.
And remember, Roger, you're playing against competition. Roger, you're playing against competition which is significantly better.
Yes, and this is halfway through the cycle, playing against the three best teams in the world. And we've already gotten 500.
I'm not saying that Sri Lanka and Pakistan are going to be walk in the park. No, they aren't. Pakistan and Sri Lanka has some very good bowling. So West Indian batsmen will have to perform, but you'll have the home advantage. You have that series behind you. Remember that Australia series? You're going to have to learn lessons from that series. And once again, the Campbells and the Kings of the world will have to continue to improve their cricket. Once again, there are still things that Campbell has to do to improve his batting. King has to improve his batting. Hodge is just making a comeback. It's a welcome century. He'll have to keep on improving his game. And once again, your best batsman, Hope, will still have to continue to improve his cricket.
When was the last time the West Indies made 400 twice in a series?
Never.
The West Indies made 400 or close to 500 in the second test match. The West Indies are about in the first test match. The West Indies are about to score 400 again in this test match in the first innings. That has not happened. It's got to be years.
In a while. Yes.
Yeah, let's do some research on that. Kirk feels Roach is going to retire after he gets to 300 wickets. He might.
I think he will.
Yeah, he might.
But you know what? The problem is now with that hamstring injury. I don't know when Roach is going to get that opportunity to get to 300. Do they give him the opportunity in the Pakistan test?
Mm-hmm. Demo here is saying you wanted Fleming. Yes, I wanted Fleming and Ponting to coach a team. All I'm saying, Demo, because again, I think it would have been better to have split coaches. It's very, very difficult to have a coach to do all formats. But I was okay with taking Darren Sammy if he was the next best option, if we weren't able to get these guys. All I'm saying, Demo, is even if we got Fleming or Ponting, it doesn't mean the team was going to be doing any better. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't mean there wouldn't have been a better option in certain scenarios. You wouldn't have certain Caribbean biases or at least accusations of Caribbean biases if one of these guys would have been there. But because I wanted Fleming or Ponting, it didn't necessarily mean that the yes, Mr. Casanova. When Tage got 200 runs, we did score. It was a huge score. I remember what it was. We may have scored 500 runs. But I'm saying, when was the last time we scored over 400 twice in the same series? But yes, Demo, even if you brought Fleming and Ponting in right now, it still doesn't mean we're going to suddenly beat Australia, beat New Zealand, beat India in India. It's not going to happen.
Roger, once again, it's very important to point out that the runs that are being scored in this New Zealand series are a lot more valuable. And I'm not discounting Tade's 200 that he scored in Zimbabwe, right? But once again, Zimbabwe is not at the same level.
How many test matches did we play in Zimbabwe? Was it one test? Or was it
two?
Two. And how much did we score in the other test match?
So he had 207, but Craig Bradwright had 182.
Yeah, what was the team score?
447.
And how much did we score in the next match in Zimbabwe?
And then I think there were like 3 test matches or two test matches. And then we scored 292.
Yeah. So we haven't scored 400 in the same series I'm gonna do some research. If anyone in the chat
But
knows,
what I'm saying is, once again, Zimbabwe is not at the level of New Zealand.
Yeah.
What you faced in the last 3 series with Australia. Look at what Australia is doing to England right now. What you are facing right now with India and now New Zealand. Those are 3 of the best teams in the world, along with South Africa.
Yeah. All right. Let's look forward. We're going to wrap up shortly, guys. Let's look forward to day number 4, Samir. What do the West Indies need to do tomorrow? Obviously, it appears as if Shai Hope is going to bat. So West Indies will need
450, 500, Roger. 450, 500, and then let's see how the West Indies bowling, which remember is going to be 1 shot now. Remember, there's going to be no Roach. Roach is not bowling in this next innings, right? Probably not. West Indies is also going to have a bowler shot, just like New Zealand had 2 bowlers shot in the first and the second test. So, and remember, they already played 1 less bowler because, remember, they wanted to bring that extra batsman, which is helping now, right? Because even Hope isn't fully fit, right? So the question is going to be, can West Indies make some inroads into New Zealand, which I don't think, this pitch looks like it's full of runs. If New Zealand has a 100-run lead, I think New Zealand is going to try to score some quick runs, maybe score up a couple of 100 runs, get up to 300, 400 in the lead, and then try to put West Indies under pressure again. I think that's the likely scenario. But I'm looking for a draw, and if it's a draw, it's not a bad draw.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
Especially after you've given up 575 in the first innings.
Mish taking us in. Greaves was the second century maker. Yes, Greaves made 100 against Bangladesh. You know what I was thinking. Greaves.
Well, once again, Roger, I keep on saying this. Let's not include in our conversation the lower tier teams and what you've done against them. These are the most important runs. Hope's 100 against New Zealand is significantly more important.
And India
is significantly more important than a double by any other player against Zimbabwe. And I'm not trying to dish Tej. I think Tej is a decent player, but once again, Tej has to improve, and he will continue to improve. But look, I think King is definitely a better opener at this point in the circumstances that we are in than Tej at this point.
And let's be honest, Ollie Pope made a double against Zimbabwe.
Yes.
What's his name? Almost
just recently.
Yeah, recently. Tej made 200 against Zimbabwe. Tej doesn't even make 200 in regional cricket. Craig made 180. Mulder decided not to break the record against Zimbabwe.
He didn't want to, right? And he's not even in the squad now.
Yes, and Greaves got some runs in this series. Yes, Greaves has played well.
Greaves double that he scored in this series is probably the best West Indian innings of the year.
Yeah, guys, I've thoroughly enjoyed spending this Saturday morning with you. Definitely enjoyed the engagement, enjoyed your comments. I definitely, Samir and I definitely like to get, together here with you in this platform and discuss West Indies cricket. I mean, we all know West Indies cricket, it's more than just cricket. It's a culture. It's what brings us together as Caribbean people. We even have Samir, a Pakistani, who has been seen as a West Indian antagonist. Even he, based on, he's gotten to learn a lot more about West Indies cricket, and also
Roger, I call it the way it is.
The engagement.
Roger, I call it the way it is. If players perform, I support them. If players don't perform, I criticize them. I don't see it any other way, and I do this for all my cricket, not just West Indian cricket. If England is performing, I'll call it the way it is. If they're underperforming, which they are right now, I'm calling it the way it is. I just see cricket.
Yeah. Kirk, no, there's no way Milne can bowl 90 miles. I don't even think Shields is bowling 90. Listen, we brought Shields in and said he's someone who has pace, and he, he's aggressive and he could bowl a little bit quickly, but he's not even 90 miles an hour. I mean, Shields is bowling mostly in the low 130s. But
Roger,
yes,
90 is a big number. 90
is 145, 146,
yes,
right?
It's a big number.
So I think Shields can get up to 140, 141 on a good day. We saw that. But for the most part, he's averaging mid 130s. So I don't even think he's that quick. No, Pittman is not a 90 mile an hour bowler. either. I mean, we just don't have those.
So Roger, in New Zealand, what you have to understand, remember, it's very windy. So bowler, it all depends on, which side you're bowling from. And, once again, those are also things that you have to look into consideration. There's always those factors of when you're bowling consistently. But obviously, listen, in today's cricket, I don't think there's many bowlers. Even Stark doesn't consistently hit 145. He does, but not at the same level that he used to like 5 years ago. So it's age, it's a lot of other factors. I think the only player that I see who consistently goes around that 145, 150 right now is Haris Rauf, and he only plays white ball cricket.
No, man, definitely South Africa have some bowlers that are bowling pretty quickly. Jansen is up there.
Jansen is up there, but he's still not at 145, 150. He's at the lower 140s. There's a huge difference between 140 and 150. Let's also be very clear with that. And most cricketers and most pace bowlers in today's cricket are right around that 140 level. They're not at the 150.
Yeah, but Norte, who recently came back from injuries, he's bowling very quick.
We did have an era, and I think it was the 2000s when you had a lot of bowlers bowling right at 150. New Zealand bowlers all were right around. We're not there right now. I think bowlers are in the 140s, which is pretty good.
World Traveler, thanks for your comment. Yes, I agree that some of these guys are showing a bit more positivity in terms of attitude and approach. I agree. And I think, you know what, you continue with some of these boys for a while, make them feel comfortable. Listen, at the end of the day, Sammy's going to make decisions, or they're going to try things. They have to experiment. What we do in regional cricket does not necessarily mean that. And listen, guys, Samir's going to drop. Samir's going to go. Let me just, I'm going to make my statement here, but Samir, take care, man.
It was great. We should do this more often, but let's be in touch. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So, certainly Samir's going to try things, and some things are going to work. Some things are not going to work. We have to look at our Caribbean structure and what we have in terms of regional cricket. Performances in a regional competition does not guarantee performance at the higher level. These guys are facing the step up is huge. The gap is huge between what we have in regional cricket and what the test level is. You have to look at guys and see what is their technique like, what is their temperament like, what is their fighting spirit like. Are they mentally strong? These are the things you have to look at some of the guys at the lower level to tell if they could translate that to international cricket. There's been many really good local or domestic players. Devon Smith immediately comes to mind, has a very, very good regional record, was never able to crack it at the test level. It's not about talent. Devon Smith was very talented. He was a very good batsman. And I don't think ability has anything to do with why Devon Smith would not have been successful at the test level. He arguably was a more talented player than Alistair Cook, scored a lot more runs than Alistair Cook when they played in the same under-19 tournament. But Alistair Cook, mentally strong, knew his game, stuck to his strengths. He had a couple of shots. He had a really good pull shot. He had a good cut shot. Couldn't drive the ball. And guess what? Alistair Cook never played at the ball outside the off stump. He tucked it off the pads. He cut, he pulled, and that's it. How much runs did Alistair Cook make? A lot of runs. So, and if you look at the West Indies, Darren Sammy selected the top regional performers. Kevin Imlach, 300s. Look at him. He looks clueless against pace bowling. In the Caribbean, he scored runs because he's good on the slow, low pitches. And you have to keep in mind that in the Caribbean, most of these teams, they have two seamers up front, right? Guys like Ryan John and Niall Smith and guys bowling 130 and 125 and 132. That is not offering the sort of challenge that he's going to face at the test level. And these guys will bowl 10 overs on a day in regional cricket. And then you know what's going to happen? The spinners who don't turn the ball that much are going to bowl all day. The seamers may come back for a couple of short spells. But that is what Imlach has to make runs against all day in regional cricket. These guys are not translating. Kevlin Anderson, consistent for the last couple of years, came in against Australia. could not lay bat on ball in a full spell against Mitchell Stark. So that is what we're getting from our regional players. Mr. Casanova here is saying Darren Ganga wasn't good on the international level as well. You're correct. Darren Ganga was decent at occupying the crease at the international level. I think Darren Ganga had the temperament at the international level, better temperament than Devon Smith. The problem with Ganga was he could not get the ball away. He didn't have enough attacking shots to score runs. So after a while, after Darren Ganga played 80 and 90 deliveries, 100 deliveries, he would get frustrated. He would get out. Devon Smith had the shots. He had the attacking ability. He just did not have the temperament, and he would make too many mistakes, and his shot selection just wasn't there. And yes, Kirk is right as well. Darren Ganga did make a couple of hundreds against Australia, right? But Darren Ganga did not have the test career he probably could have had, right? I think he averaged in the mid-20s, right? Which, again, that is the sort of normal, that's normal, for what we're seeing these days. Yeah. So, yeah. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for today. We look forward to day number 4 of this test match versus New Zealand. Hopefully the West Indies can bat until maybe an hour after lunch and get very, very close to this score, get close to the Kiwi score. And then, we'll see how it goes from there. New Zealand will be looking to maybe put up a score for the West Indies and try and chase, or they'll be trying to bowl the West Indies out, obviously, on the 5th day. And who knows? Are they going to dangle the carrot? Are they going to give West Indies a score that the West Indies will feel as if we could go after this? Or are they going to try? Because if they try to bat the West Indies out of the game, then it's probably going to be a draw. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, guys. Again, you've been watching the Massive Hit Cricket Show. Again, thanks to everyone for being here. We're going to wrap it up. And as always, stay massive.